Hey guys, let's talk about SSRIs. So SSRIs stand for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They're the most commonly prescribed antidepressant. The three most popular SSRIs are Prozac, Zoloft, and Paxil. And let's explain how they work. So before talking about how SSRIs work, let's just talk a little bit about how neurons work. So the way that neurons work is they form connections with each other, and through those connections, they're able to have the body perform activities. So just as I'm speaking to you with words and I'm giving over words to you, neurons communicate like that, but with chemicals. So a neuron is going to send a chemical to the next neuron, and then that neuron is going to send a chemical to the next neuron, and it keeps going, and those are how neuronal connections are formed. The important thing to note, especially when talking about SSRIs, is that when a neuron sends chemicals to the next neuron, not all of the chemicals are actually going to get to the next neuron, because the neuron doesn't actually send chemicals directly to the next neuron. The first neuron has to kind of pour chemicals inside a gap called the synapse, and then the neuron that's receiving those chemicals is kind of going to pick up those chemicals from the synapse. But before the next neuron has a chance to pick up those chemicals from the synapse, there are these things called transporters that basically clean out the synapse and are going to take some of the chemicals away. So not all of the chemicals that the first neuron intended to give to the second neuron are actually going to be obtained by the second neuron, because the transporters are going to steal some of them away. So when talking about serotonin is basically one of these chemicals. It's a neurotransmitter. So what SSRIs kind of do is they stop the transporters from being made. So because the transporters aren't being made and the transporters aren't taking away serotonin from the synapse, then the neurons who are supposed to receive the serotonin are actually getting a lot more serotonin, because the serotonin isn't being taken away. And because serotonin is implicated in depression, and low serotonin levels in certain parts of the brain are theorized to contribute to depression, by taking away these transporters and therefore having a higher concentration of serotonin in certain parts of the brain, the drug basically kind of helps with depression. So that's how SSRIs work for depression.